What's up, guys? Welcome back to your Heroclix headquarters. Today we've got another episode of Power of the Week, the show where we take a look at a Heroclix power, see what it does, see what it combos well with, and then take a look at some of my favorite characters that can use that power. And today, one of our recommendations was Energy Explosion. And to do that, we need to take a look at our handy dandy pack, which I've got right here. So we'll take a quick look. So Energy Explosion is the orange attack power, and it says Energy Explosion, range, make a range attack, and all other characters adjacent to an original target also become targets. Hit characters are dealt 2 damage instead of normal damage. Alright, so let's go to the map and we'll take a look at it in action and show you what it does. Alright, so in this scenario here we have Thor just chilling by himself in the Avengers Mansion, and a couple bad guys try to break in and attack him. Now, instead of trying to shoot them individually, it'd be best if he tries to use his Energy Explosion. As you can see there, on his attack power, he has that orange square that gives him Energy Explosion. There we go. So to do that, we're going to be giving him his range action, saying we're going to use Energy Explosion, targeting this guy since he's the only one we can see. It doesn't matter that this one's behind a wall. He's still adjacent to our main target here. So since he's adjacent, he will become a target as well. And then after we roll our attack roll, hopefully we'll hit. The energy shield deflection on him will come into play. He will get his +2 defense from that. Now, if we hit both of them still, it will do 2 damage to each of them. This will be lowered by things such as toughness he has there. So he would end up taking 1 damage. If he was hit as well, he would end up taking 2 damage. So that's pretty much the basics of Energy Explosion for you. It can be very good to target, like I said, characters that are behind walls that are adjacent to opposing characters, or if you're just outnumbered and you're trying to deal damage, more damage spread across multiple figures. And it has the potential to deal more damage spread across 2 or 3 figures rather than just hitting one of them at a time. So you have the potential to deal more damage in a turn per attack. If your opponent keeps all their characters grouped up, it can be very devastating. So to take a look at a power that combos well with Energy Explosion is of course going to be Running Shot. Running Shot letting you move half your movement and then be given a range at no cost. So in this scenario, let's say they're both behind a wall. We could Running Shot over here where we could see him, and then use their Energy Explosion on him, which would also again target him right here behind him since he's adjacent to the original target. And another thing you're going to want to look for to combo with your Energy Explosion is going to be having multiple targets. Those lightning bolts there on the base let you target multiple characters, so 2 bolts gives you 2 targets. And what this allows you to do is in a situation like this where you've got a couple different teams moving up on you, you can target, say, this guy right here and this guy right here, and then of course the adjacent characters would then become targets as well. So even though you can't see these guys around the corner, you can still manage to hit all 4 characters with 1 attack potentially, which can be huge. The potential to deal 2 damage to 4 different characters is 8 total damage. Even if it's lowered from something like toughness, you're still going to be doing a lot more damage than you could normally do with even a 4 damage character. So looking for characters that have 2 to 3 targets is huge with Energy Explosion. Especially if you're going against a team with a lot of characters that stay grouped together, you can just really demolish the whole team in a couple of turns. Now to take a look at some of the weaknesses of Energy Explosion. As good as it can be against a big team of figures, it can be almost entirely useless against a one-man army figure, or to say one really strong figure that's a lot of points. In this example here, we have a figure that is over 300 points, so there's really nothing else on their team maybe. They don't really have anything you can Energy Explode onto, and only doing 2 damage isn't going to cut it. So you're going to want to just hit them with your regular attacks and not really waste the Energy Explosion. And it's important to note that the way Energy Explosion is now worded, it no longer combos with any other ranged actions such as Penetrating Psychic Blast. In old effects, you could use them together to make the damage from Energy Explosion penetrating. That is no longer how it works. And you also can't combo it with anything like Ranged Combat Expert, since that is a power action by itself. Alright, and now to take a look at some of my favorite characters that can use Energy Explosion. So we'll start off with Thor again over here. He's got this Bring the Lightning special trait that he has Protected Energy Explosion. He starts the game with a lightning marker. When he hits with an attack not using Energy Explosion, he can remove the marker, place it in the square of a hit character, and then after resolutions make a range attack using Energy Explosion at no cost, which is really powerful. Basically just lets you use a regular attack and then also hit him with Energy Explosion on top of that, which can be really helpful, do a lot of damage in one turn. And some other energy exploders I want to talk about here are Punisher War Machine. He's really good for a lot of reasons, but he does have this cool energy explosion and knockback special on his attack there. That can really take your opponent by surprise. If you energy explode a couple characters on our team and then add in the knockback damage to knock them into a wall or off a ledge or something, can be a lot of damage in one turn, and a lot of people don't see that knockback coming. And then over here we have Iron Man, and he's really great because he already starts with 2 targets and energy explosion. He can start the game with either the space or reality gems equipped, and these are both great. The reality gem gives him an extra target and perplex, so you could have potentially a triple target energy explosion, perplex his attack up to 12 if you need to, his range to 8 if you need to, whatever. Otherwise, on his special, if you have the Space Gem equipped, he can use the Energy Explosion, and when he uses it with the Space Gem, all other characters within 2 squares in line of fire of the original target become targets instead, and damage dealt can't be reduced below 1. So that's really powerful. Even if they have good damage reducers, they can't reduce that damage below 1 from the Energy Explosion, and it gives you a 2 square radius from each target, so you could potentially target even more characters than even if you had 3 targets maybe. And speaking of Punisher, even the regular Punisher is really great for Energy Explosion. This one is really good. He's got Energy Explosion. When he does and targets only 1 character, damage dealt is penetrating. So that's great. If your opponent has a lot of characters with like invulnerability or impervious, the damage will still get through and you can still deal a lot of damage with him. And then for the X-Men, we have Gambit over here that can use Energy Explosion, and when he uses it, if the roll is doubles and hits, increase the damage dealt to all hit characters by +1. That just feels like a really cool Gambit kind of Energy Explosion. When you roll those doubles, that'll be doing 3 damage to hit per hit character, and then don't forget that when you roll doubles, you also deal a knockback, so you have that potential to knock them back into a wall or something for that extra damage. Here we have, for the villains, Demogoblin is one of my all-time favorite energy exploders. He has this trait, Demogoblin can use Energy Explosion. When he does, hit characters modify their defense value by -1 until your next turn. And he does have 2 targets on him, so the potential to hit so many characters with Energy Explosion and then minus all of their defense by 1 until your next turn is huge. You could really just dismantle a whole team that way. But then he also combos that with his damage power, Repent. When Demogoblin hits an opposing character, that character's controller chooses 1. Give that character 2 action tokens, or that character's defense powers are countered until your next turn, which is old language. That basically means that they can't use their defense powers until your next turn, which again is huge. Minusing 1 on all of their defense until your next turn, potentially knocking out all of their defense powers until your next turn. This guy, for Golden Age games, Maximum Carnage, Monster, he's going to be really good. Sinister Syndicate, he's going to be really good coming up, I think. Then we also have Electro here. Now, this guy did get an errata, but I'll read the regular power first. So, when Electro makes a ranged attack, he can use Precision Strike. If he targets at least 2 characters, he can also use Energy Explosion. If he targets 3 characters, the damage dealt is penetrating damage. The reason this guy got an errata is because of the way Precision Strike was changed to be able to only target 1 character. So now it says Energy Explosion, Precision Strike that may target more than 1 character, and when Electro makes a range attack, if he has 3 original targets, he deals penetrating damage. So again, that's huge. With Precision Strike, they'll have a much more difficult time dodging it with Super Senses. They also won't be able to reduce it below 1 damage, or if you get to target 3 characters, then you just won't be able to reduce the damage at all because it'll be penetrating. So that's a huge deal with Energy Explosion. You'll be able to deal tons of damage with him. Alright, and on the DC side of things, my favorite Energy Exploder is Starfire in her 2 most recent iterations here. The main reason I like this one, she just has a regular Energy Explosion, but she does have improved targeting characters. And the reason this is a big deal is because you can actually shoot behind, say they have one character in the front and you want to shoot the one in the middle because maybe there's even more behind them. You know, getting through that first character can open up a much bigger Energy Explosion. You know, maybe you can target 4 characters now when before you would have only been able to hit 2. She also has an 8 range with double target. So she has a lot of potential to get some big Energy Explosions off, even if they're just regular Energy Explosions. She also has some running shots, so it's a great combos with that. And then of course over here we have this super rare Starfire from Rebirth. She's so good for so many reasons, but we're just talking about Energy Explosion today. So she has this special that gives her Energy Explosion, and she may use it at no cost instead of a range attack while using hypersonic speed, and you still have her range. So she does start with that hypersonic speed there, and she does have a 7 range double target, which would become a 4 rounded up. But with an 11 movement, you have still a lot of movement to get around and double target Energy Explosion, and then potentially run back away because of the hypersonic movement still, which is just a really good combo. There's just not a lot of characters in the game that can do that, so it's really cool to see something like that. Alright, and I do like to show some other characters outside of Marvel and DC. So one of my favorites here from the Yu-Gi-Oh sets, we have the Beast-Skull Dragon. He has this awesome attack power. He can use Energy Explosion, and when he hits an opposing character with a ranged combat attack, place a burning token on that character's card if there isn't one already. Even if this power is lost or countered, when a character with a burning token begins a turn, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. Characters with burning tokens can be given a power action to remove a burning token from its card. So the big deal there is, since he does have a 9 range with 2 targets, he can, you know, get a big Energy Explosion off, potentially put burning tokens on a lot of characters' cards, and then at the beginning of their next turn, they're all going to take another penetrating damage from that burning token. And if they don't take power actions to remove them, they're going to keep taking that penetrating damage every turn. So even without, you know, using his big 5 damage for an attack, you can do a lot more damage with, you know, 1 well-placed Energy Explosion. And then another good one over here is the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So his attack power reads, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon can use Energy Explosion. When it does, the area of effect includes all untargeted characters within 3 squares in line of fire of 1 or more hit targets assigned at least 1 damage. Now, so that's kind of older wording on it, but basically what it means now is that he can use Energy Explosion, and when he does, the area of effect would include all characters within 3 squares in line of fire of the original targets. So with an 8 range 2 target, you could easily hit the whole team for 1 big Energy Explosion, which is nice since he has so many points. He's going to need to deal a lot of damage to a lot of characters. Alright guys, that does it for this episode of Power of the Week. If you liked this video, make sure you leave a like for me, and let me know in the comments if there's any other questions you have about this power, and what powers you'd like to see next week on Power of the Week. And make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos from us. And until next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.